Honorable Chair of this occasion, Honorable MP, Distinguished Councillor of Bradford Council, large audience, very good evening. It is my great pleasure to be here to share my short life escapes with Biko. At the outset, I would like to tell that I am one of the fortunate from millions of homeless, deprived Rohingya people living across the world. I am really thankful to the government and the people of the UK for resettling. Otherwise, it would not be possible for today to come here. Let me divide my life history into three parts in three countries. Firstly, childhood in Myanmar. Secondly, boyhood in refugee camp in Bangladesh and resettled life in Bradford, UK. Here I am also trying to raise the voice against the military junta of Myanmar. I formed here Bradford Rohingya community and developed its website. I work here in the refugee project, and finally I am contributing to the community as an interpreter of the NHS. I was born in 1982 in Arkan State in Myanmar. So far I remember that my father was tortured severely in form of all at our home by Nasaka army of Myanmar in many times for giving money to the Nasaka camps. I was 9 years old in 1991. Clearly I remember that Nasaka army forcibly entered in one of our neighboring family and took one lady to their camp. Rape, torture, lootings were a common scenario at this time. As a result, in 1991, about 250,000 Rohingya people fled from Arkan and entered in Bangladesh. At that time, my father was also fled from Arkan, including my family members. He has started another torturing life in refugee camp in Bangladesh. The government of Bangladesh has started forcibly back to Arkan about 2 or 3 years and continue it up to 2000. After that, we made a strong protest of pushback. The government appointed some refugee criminals during this pushback who are known as Maji. In the refugee camp, their torture was indescribable. They looted money and many things. I formed a youth group in the refugee camp to protest the pushback and resist the Maji in 2002. The Majis and the government officer opened fires against the Rohingya youth group in 2004, and 3 of our members lost their lives. After that, the government filed case against us. As a result, some of our youth group members fled from the camps. However, we did not stop our youth movements in the camp. At night, suddenly you hear your Rohingya neighbor's house crying of a woman asking for help, followed by a group of Rakhine young people in short pants setting fire on your Rohingya neighbor's house, and next is yours. You have no time to spare. You leave behind your possession. You took your family in your boat, anchored on the river, and you found out you are the luckiest one. You got shelter in the neighboring country. You came to tell people what happened. On your way, though you see many men, women, especially their children. Especially a child died, you could not forget who could not get up from the mud to catch up her parents. During the stampede, the unfortunate Rohingya will not have their story to tell to her future generation. This seems like a story of Hitler's Germany in the last century. No, it is in Asia, in a Buddhist country, in the remote control corner of Arkan of Burma. The Burmese authorities should immediately release details of detained Rohingya, allow access to family members, humanitarian agencies, and release anyone not charged with a crime recognized under international law in which there is credible evidence. Burma, in 1982 citizenship law effectively denies Burmese citizenship to the Rohingya population. estimated 1 million people. On July 12, Burmese President Thein Sein said the only solution to the sectarian strife was to expel the Rohingya to other countries or to camps overseen by the United Nations Refugee Agency. Thein Sein said, "We will send them away if any third country would accept them." Burma's new Human Rights Commission, led by the chairman Win Myint and Ethnic Arkan, has not played an effective role in monitoring abuses in Arkan state. Human Rights Watch said in July 11 assessment of the sectarian violence, the Commission reported on no government abuses, claim all humanitarian needs were being met and failed to address Rohingya citizenship and persecution. The Burmese government needs to urgently amend its citizenship law to end official discrimination against the Rohingya. President Thein Sein cannot credibly claim to be promoting human rights while calling for the exploitation of people because of their ethnicity and their religion. The government has restricted access to affected areas, particularly Rohingya areas, crippling the humanitarian response. United Nations and humanitarian aid workers have faced arrests as well as threat and intimidation from the local Arkan population, which perceives the aid agency as biased toward the Rohingya. Government restrictions have made some areas, such as Bele south of Mongdo, inaccessible to humanitarian agencies. The authorities should immediately grant unfettered humanitarian access to all affected population and begin work to prevent future violence between the communities. The government should assist both communities with property restitution and ensure all of the displaced can return home and live in safety. On hearing about the growing atrocities and mass murder, I left for Bangladesh after collecting aid from relatives. Most of our family are in camps or in Burma. We didn't know whether they are alive or dead. The location of some is still unknown and we fear of their life. With the funds collected, unregistered families living in camps could buy basic things like clean water, food and medication. But the situation is dire and desperate for the Rohingya community. Since then, the persecution on Rohingya has been steadily increased to such an extent that people cannot move even from village to village without authorities' approval. And marriage ban was imposed, taking years to get married, possible only when the authorities approve it. Professional higher education and movement to any other state, we are totally banned. Thousands have been killed who tried to sneak out the ban and so on. Many Rohingya were forced to leave the country, causing a lot diaspora in many parts of the world, the largest being in Saudi Arabia, Pakistan and Bangladesh, totaling about 1.5 million. As the Bradford Rohingya community, we have written to the William Hawke MP, Secretary of State for Foreign and Commonwealth Affairs, and the High Commissioner for Bangladesh, London. There has not been anything like the international response that would be expected for a crisis on this scale. Action needs to be taken now to ensure aid can be delivered, arrests and human rights abuses stops, and people are allowed to return safely to their homes. Britain used to lead in mobilizing the international community to respond to human rights and humanitarian crisis in Burma. We need you to resume that leading role again. I urge you to use every diplomatic and legal tool at your disposal to help bring an end to the current crisis. Including Britain must draw international attention to the current crisis by strongly condemning the blocking of humanitarian aid, the human rights abuses committed by the police, army and security forces, and by rejecting proposal for all Rohingya to be expelled from the country. Britain must also push for discussion and action at the United Nations Security Council and other United Nations bodies. Britain must mobilize the international community to pressure President Thein Sein to allow aid to be delivered to the 100,000 displaced people. Lives are being lost every day while the UK, European Union and the rest of the international community fail to take sufficient action to end this crisis. But the world should be putting its spotlight on Myanmar. It should not so eagerly welcome democracy in a country that leaves thousands of stateless men and women floating in a river, their corpses washing up its shores, after they have been reviled in and driven from a land in which their family have lived for centuries. This is not a sectarian violence. It is a state-supported ethnic cleansing, and the nation of the world are not pressing Myanmar leaders to stop it. We urge the leaders to stand up and speak up for this inhuman justice that prevails. We thank you all for supporting us and are grateful that so many of you have turned up. May Allah reward you all for this, and we hope you will not let us this matter be washed away. Thank you very much.